Well, it's for first place in the ACC, potentially hang a banner for the ACC regular season title, perhaps a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Other than that, not really very much on the line. But I think rebounding is going to be the biggest aspect of this game. Certainly you have to take care of the ball because both these teams can defend, but the team that controls the glass should win the game.
And Carolina with the best rebounding margin in the country. They're coming off a thrashing of Virginia on the weekend, 65-41. Louisville has won 3 in a row. All were close over Miami, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. How about that Syracuse win over Duke? We were just sitting here courtside, saw the finish like everybody did on TV. What a huge win for the Orange.
Well, for Syracuse to shoot 53% in the Carrier Dome against Duke was a great performance. And how about John Gillen? He had 43 points against NC State. Then comes up with 26 against Duke, including that incredible game winner.
Our officials tonight, Ron Groover, Pat Driscoll, John Gaffney here in Chapel Hill, and the Cardinals with the first possession. Donovan Mitchell, who's been playing great for Louisville, leaves his first attempt a little bit short.
Mitchell being guarded by Theo Pinson. That's a key matchup because Donovan Mitchell has not been good over his last 14 games. He has been great. All ACC good.
Justin Jackson has been great for North Carolina. Had 20 points in the win over Virginia on Saturday. 18 of them in the first half as he misses the 3. Nothing but Hall of Fame coaches on the docket tonight, from Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim in the first game to Roy Williams and Rick Pitino here in this game. Each coach has won a couple of national championships. They've combined for 15 Final Fours between these two. Really coaching royalty in this ACC doubleheader tonight.
There's never been a league in the history of college basketball that's boasted this caliber of coaches at this stage of their career.
The call's going against Deng Adel of Louisville.
What a tremendous job by Joel Berry to draw that charge. That was a great backdoor cut by Deng Adel. But Joel Berry got there, just got outside that line to draw the charge. Really great play by Berry.
Only regular season meeting between these two programs. Louisville is ranked 7th, Carolina ranked 8th.
You're going to see some different defensive looks from this Louisville team. They can play man, they can go with a matchup zone, they can press full court.
Isaiah Hicks fade away from the baseline, not there, followed by Pinson. Terrific effort, but he can't knock it down, and then he commits a foul.
North Carolina's looking to get the ball inside. They want to get it to Kennedy Meeks, Isaiah Hicks, play through the post, and then they go hard after the offensive glass, and that includes Theo Pinson. He comes in from the wing. You don't lay a body on him, he's going to be able to get some stickbacks.
Louisville, one of the few teams in the country, though, at least in terms of height, that can really match up with Carolina.
They can match up height-wise, and this is the second best rebounding team in the ACC and second best offensive rebounding team.
Mitchell long on the 3. Berry the push to Jackson. Crossover, and had it rejected on his way up. Now the Cardinals come back with numbers. Coast to coast, the finish not there for Adele.
This is a track meet.
Somebody's got to break the seal, and it won't come here. Adele ahead to Quentin Snyder, and the Cardinals are on the board.
And that's the one area where North Carolina, I think, has to be very mindful throughout the course of this game. This is an excellent defensive team in Louisville. They do a great job of helping and recovering. They anticipate. They don't turn you over as much as some of Rick Pitino's teams in the past, but if you cough the ball up and give them easy baskets, you are making a huge error.
Still a very good defensive team and an underrated offensive team as Kennedy Meeks lowers the shoulder and is called for the foul.
Deng Adel did a really nice job of trailing in transition to take this pass away on the pass to the corner by Theo Pinson. It led to a run out, and you cannot defend a run out. Then Kennedy Meeks on the next possession just puts his head down to drive from the top of the key, charges and turns it over. So North Carolina's coughing it up without getting a shot.
Good hands by Pinson, but Adele gets it back. Mitchell gets the switch, looking inside, and it will go for Mango Mathiang, the senior from Melbourne, Australia.
Just a really nice job by Louisville of putting Isaiah Hicks into a ball screen up top. And then as the ball goes from one side to the other, Mango Mathiang just ducks into the middle, and he gets Kennedy Meeks right on his back. And they're going right at these North Carolina big guys. Put them in ball screens, dribble handoffs, and then make them guard in the post.
So Carolina 2 minutes and 45 seconds in. Still scoreless. Meeks no. Hicks with a weak side rebound. Follow on the third attempt. The fourth attempt finally goes as Kennedy Meeks puts it home.
Now, Kennedy Meeks is not an explosive leaper, but his second and third jump, he gets off the floor faster than everybody else.
Wide open, Mitchell. Jackson skies for the rebound for Carolina.
And when Jackson catches it, he can take it himself.
Barry with a floater. Meeks again.
It's one thing to go rebound and to go after the ball. It's another thing to get into somebody's body, and it is tough to get into the body of Kennedy Meeks and get him out of the way in there.
Now a Louisville turnover. Numbers for Carolina. Pinson short on the finger roll, about 1.5 feet short, and back come the Cardinals. Adele way long on the three. Everybody's hyped up here, Jay, on both sides. You got to admire the energy and the effort, but the execution's not quite there yet.
No, there have been some shots that have been taken that have not been taken in very good rhythm. And Rick Pitino getting right into Adele for a lack of rebounding and putting his body on somebody. You got to be physical in this game. And Louisville sticking with a 2-3 look. And they can go man out of this.
Rick Pitino's gone to his bench. Hicks drives by Anas Mahmoud, can't finish, and back comes Mitchell. Bounce pass inside, and the reverse is good for V.J. King, the freshman from Cleveland, back after missing the Virginia Tech game with a bruised thigh.
He had a couple down games, but in the game against Virginia, V.J. King had 24 points, went 8 of 14 from the field. He is going to be an excellent offensive player.
Barry, step back jumper.
That's a hard shot. Well, you take a bad shot, it leads to a run out.
But then Snyder turns it right back over. Jackson. And it's out of bounds to Louisville.
Well, North Carolina's got 4 points, and they all belong to Kennedy Meeks. And it's off of the offensive glass. That second shot goes up after Isaiah Hicks gets it, and second and third effort by Kennedy Meeks. And then he goes up and tips another one. Not necessarily above the rim, but it works.
Here's Maria.
Well, Dan, you kind of hear Justin talking about the ways that he's improved by adding 6 points per game to his average and also improving his three-point shooting by 10 percentage points. He said that he was in the gym every single day, at least twice a day, but also the game slowed down for him. So he understands if he's a good screener, then he's a good scorer, and things like that he didn't understand just a season ago. And that's the way that he's been able to up his efficiency on offense.
All right, Maria, thank you. Mitchell with a lay-in for Louisville. I feel like the broadcast has slowed down for you this year.
Yeah, I think it has. I spent a lot of time in the gym this summer working with people that don't let me talk.
To get you ready for the regular season. Yeah. By the way, you may have heard just when we came out of break, rejection by Mitchell, saved by King, but right into the hands of Jackson, and then another turnover. You may have heard a reaction right when we came out of the timeout. They showed the score of the Duke-Syracuse game up at the video scoreboards here in each corner of the Dean Dome with a predictable reaction here in Chapel Hill.
Well, it just shows how much respect they have for Jim Boeheim and the Syracuse program. How much they like Syracuse.
What a win for the Orange. Lob and Mahmoud over the top for the finish. Louisville now up by 6.
Boy, really good job to put this North Carolina team, especially the big guys in the ball screen situations. And Jalen Johnson did a nice job of ducking in. That way they couldn't take that lob away. Open side lob. This is a well-drilled Louisville team. You know they're great defensively, but the last 12 games, Dan, they have really improved on the offensive end.
Mitchell a little bit strong, and we've got a foul going against Louisville. Going against Jalen Johnson.
Setting the ball screen out top. Mahmoud just goes right to the bucket. And because there's some action down low, you couldn't have Luke May get down there to stop that. And Mahmoud is so long. He had maybe his best game of the year against Duke, where he came into that ball game. He was fantastic on both ends of the floor.
17 and 11. Carolina is 2 for 15 with 4 turnovers so far. One of the best offensive teams in the nation has been far from that so far. And for Louisville, in the game is Tony Hicks. He's playing for the first time in about a month. Suffered a fractured bone in his right hand as Jackson knocks down the three.
North Carolina slowed down on that possession. The Tar Heels were going so fast. They were almost running past opportunities instead of giving the Louisville defense an opportunity to make a mistake.
Nearly stolen by Jackson. King pulls up for a very tough shot. Mahmoud will run it down. Boy, the length of his strides is unbelievable.
A year ago, Anas Mahmoud could not have made that move. That was outstanding.
It's like he's got go-go gadget arms and legs. One dribble, a couple of steps, and he's at the rim.
Go-go gadget, is that a Canadian thing? Here it's Inspector Gadget. Isn't it?
I'm getting confirmation that I may be in the right on this one. Nate Britt. Ball still live, and it's out of bounds to Carolina. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
You don't see many 7-footers that make this kind of move. To get into the lane, spin back, and then have the wherewithal to complete that play off the glass. That's a great move by Anas Mahmoud.
The pace of this game really requires a couple of teams with depth, and both of these teams have it, although Carolina's without Kenny Williams out for the balance of the season with a knee injury. Now the officials confer it's going to be a clean play and Louisville ball. Another North Carolina turnover. That's their 5th. And Roy Williams way out on the court, didn't like it at all.
Well, it was a foul. There was nothing clean about this. This is a foul. You can see Donovan Mitchell just went right into his back and knocked him to the floor. And that's something the officials have to call. I mean, there was contact there that required a foul being called.
Pinson felt the same way. Louisville with the ball and an early 5-point lead on the road. They're 4-5 against ranked teams this year. Every loss the Cardinals have has come against a ranked opponent, including Virginia twice. Louisville 22-5, withstood injuries, most notably to Quentin Snyder, who missed some time. Mahmoud puts it on the deck, reverses it, no good. And coming up with it for Carolina, 7th Woods.
A great movement by Louisville. Ball movement, player movement.
Is that the biggest reason why they're better offensively than they were earlier in the year?
Well, Rick Pitino thinks they've become a better passing team. Early on in the season, Rick Pitino thought that his team did not exhibit a high basketball IQ. There's another lob. But it's a team that has learned. It's learned how to play and learned how to make plays.
It'll be Carolina ball when we come back.
Anas Mahmoud has had some really good ball games this year. He has improved a great deal. Maybe his best game against Duke.
The history of that great conference. But let's talk about today, this year. UCLA, Arizona, Oregon. 3 heavyweights out in that league right now.
Well, Oregon's probably the most balanced team. They do a great job of defending, protecting the rim, blocking shots, and they're also excellent scoring. They got really good balance. UCLA, the best offensive team by far.
Yeah.
I mean, they're averaging over 90 points a game, even in conference. But over the last 5 games, the Bruins have started to defend at a much higher level. They're top 50 in the country if they're in their defensive efficiency over the last 5 or 6 games.
And Arizona beat UCLA at Pauley Pavilion earlier in the year, so the Bruins will be looking to exact a measure of revenge. Great touch pass from Luke May to Tony Bradley.
Basically off of a broken play. Louisville started out in that 2-3 zone. They can do so many things out of it. And they are very difficult. They can be very difficult to figure out when they're on the defensive end. They give you so many different looks, and they're so aggressive.
Snyder around a screen, can't knock down the jumper. Great offensive rebound by Spalding, and then Mathiang cleans it up.
Well, this Louisville team not without the ability to get second shots. Ray Spalding's got a 7'4" wingspan, and he's leading this team in rebounding in ACC games, averaging about 6 a game. You know, Jalen Johnson, the leading rebounder, has not been rebounding at as high of a rate in ACC play.
And we're about to see something we've seen sporadically over the years from Roy Williams when he's unhappy with something that he sees on the court. He'll bring 5 different players in. Now, in this case, 4 of them happen to be starters who are getting ready to check back into the game. Backdoor cut, Snyder off to Mathiang, and it's rejected at the rim by Bradley.
When Dean Smith was coaching the Tar Heels, he'd make a full sort of line change. They called it the blue team back in the day.
Theo Pinson saying, "Coach, don't take me out," as he knocks down a 3. Now good ball pressure by Bradley. Mathiang needs help. And a timeout. Was it a timeout or a 5-second call?
It should have been a 5-second call, but it looks like
it looks like a timeout.
Looks like they gave Louisville a timeout.
Boy, as noisy as it's ever been, maybe when we've been in this building. It was deafening after the 3, and then a good defensive stand. And I think it was a 5-second
call. They did give him a 5-second call.
Yeah, it wasn't a timeout.
Back to their benches.
Yeah.
Now, some people may be confused by this. There's no more 5-second call when you are dribbling. But before you put the ball down, you can get a 5-second closely guarded. And after you pick the ball up, you can get a 5-second closely guarded call. The defense can.
Roy Williams does indeed bring 5 new players in, 4 starters, and Stillman White. Jackson slices to the basket and ties the game.
As poorly as North Carolina has shot the ball, for them to be tied at this stage of the game, pretty solid.
And Snyder is fouled by Joel Berry. Let's bring in Maria with more. What do you have, Maria?
Well, we saw the full lineup change, and that was right after Roy Williams really got after his team during the last timeout. He wasn't happy with the defensive intensity. He wasn't happy with the type of shots that his team was taking. And then we saw him completely change his lineup, guys.
Here's the kick. Mitchell too strong on the 3, and Jackson seals off Adele for the rebound.
Well, good block out. North Carolina came with the quick trap. A little bit of a scramble.
What a friendly bounce for Justin Jackson.
See, Dan, this is where I think North Carolina can set itself apart, and that's when they play high-level defense.
Snyder misses an open look. Back to Carolina. Justin Jackson with his second 3 of the game last time down the floor.
He just deadened this ball when he caught that nice little screen up top by Isaiah Hicks, but the ball hit the heel of the rim and just died right in the basket. It was just a little bit shy of what London Parentes had happen at Virginia Tech when that ball held up on the heel of the rim. I've never seen anything like that happen before.
Jackson now has 76 threes on the season.
He's on pace to catch up to Shammond Williams back in '98.
Hicks in the post is fouled by Mahmoud. More college action coming your way tomorrow. Got a doubleheader for you at 7 Eastern. American Conference action as Memphis takes on number 15 Cincinnati. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern into the Big Ten, Wisconsin and Ohio State from Columbus. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Jackson and Mahmoud just did what he does best with a block.
I was still trying to figure out what Mahmoud did wrong when to get that foul other than be in good position and be big.
Rick Pitino goes to Jay Henderson, who fires up an air ball. Another chance now, though, for Louisville. Off the glass and good, and a chance for 3 for Dengadell.
A little bit surprised that Isaiah Hicks didn't come over to try to block that shot. Taking a charge there, difficult to get. Poor closeout by Justin Jackson, and that really put Isaiah Hicks in a bad spot. Had to come from underneath the basket behind Jalen Johnson. And I think he would have been better off to try to go up and challenge that shot rather than try to take a charge.
Misses the free throw. Carolina leads by 1. For Carolina, what's at stake? A win tonight. They're 2 games up in the ACC. Stillman White banks one home. Rarely gets a chance to play. The senior out of Wilmington at North Carolina, but he got a chance to get in there. But Roy Williams was unhappy with a group of 4, and he knocks down a jumper.
Yeah, Stillman White may not play much, but when he gets in, he usually gives this team a lift.
Snyder off to Johnson, who is fouled.
You know, remember, Stillman White came into some games in Maui when the team might be a little bit stagnant. He comes in, he moves the ball. He's a good cutter. And he's a very low mistake player.
And he's getting some minutes here in this crucial game in the ACC. That foul, by the way, was on Isaiah Hicks, his second. And he's going to have to come out. Luke May will take his place. Pinson's back in for the Tar Heels as well.
Well, Isaiah Hicks missed the Duke game with an injury he suffered in practice the day prior to that February 9th tilt. And when he came back, it was against NC State. And he wound up only playing 7 minutes in that game because of foul trouble. Wound up fouling out of that in just 7 minutes.
Johnson, who's a 63% free throw shooter, missed them both. Pinson open. Henderson ahead to Adele. Full head of steam in the lay-in. Tough to slow him down in transition.
Boy, that was a great job of Louisville getting it down the court quickly.
And a bad job of Louisville stopping the ball at the other end.
North Carolina has always been really good at taking the ball out of the net and running it back up while you're celebrating or enjoying the fact that you just scored. They're laying it in on you.
Ball still loose. Johnson comes up with another rebound. Louisville getting chances on the offensive glass. Snyder no. Ball still loose, and it now belongs to the Tar Heels.
Boy, Johnson and Luke May were going at each other for that ball.
And we'll step aside. 7 minutes even left here in the first half. Carolina leading by 3. When we come back, some bracketology. How many bids for the ACC? Including Syracuse. And keep in mind, this layout here is before play tonight, and Syracuse beat Duke tonight. Obviously, a huge win for the Orange. Georgia Tech, Clemson, Wake Forest among the first 4 out. Let's focus on North Carolina and Louisville at the moment. He's got Carolina as a 1. Baylor's dropped down. He's got Louisville as a 2. Do you think somebody out of the ACC is getting a 1 seed this year?
Yes. Traditionally, the ACC champion is going to get a 1 seed. At least it's happened the majority of years. In the last probably dozen years.
Champion, you mean regular season champion?
Both. I mean, you know, if you have like regular season champion, and then oftentimes they've won both. But if you win the regular season, get to the final, you're going to be a 1 seed. And so I think both these teams are vying for that. And Louisville's played a really difficult schedule. They've got a really good resume. I've had North Carolina as a 1 seed for quite a while now. I've never understood why their ranking has been as low as it's been.
So Villanova, Kansas, Gonzaga, Carolina would be your 4 1 seeds right now.
Yes.
And Louisville firmly on the 2 line right now?
Yes.
Adele takes a bump, can't finish. Pinson corrals the loose ball for the Tar Heels. Long bounce pass. Jackson. And we have a foul. Ignore the rebound and the action underneath. Pat Driscoll with a whistle and a call against Johnson of Louisville. That'll be his 2nd.
What a beautiful pass by Theo Pinson. You know, Theo Pinson's only played in 9 games, and when he gets a rebound, kind of like Justin Jackson, he can bring it up on his own. And that ball almost with that soft touch. I mean, there's probably nobody in college basketball has a better floater, better intermediate range little shot than Justin Jackson has, but he had to put that one up and immediately look down into the contact. That was a big-time pass by Theo Pinson. And Pinson has, since he's been back, he's only got like 30 assists and 5 turnovers? Yeah. It's remarkable.
This is his 10th game. He missed the first 16 games with a broken bone in his foot. Came back and played 6. Then he was hurt again. Suffered a lower leg injury, missed 3. But now he's come back at about the same time that Kenny Williams went out with a season-ending knee injury. Pinson, his assist-to-turnover ratio is great. He's rebounding. He's defending. 7 points per game and 19 minutes per game. Snyder. Barry stays right with him. Good defense there by Joel Barry, and the shot clock running down. Pull up by Mitchell. That is tough to defend.
Well, especially since he got a switch and Tony Bradley had to stick with him. That was a good job to put Bradley into a little drive, get him backing up, and then just pull up because Bradley wasn't able to stop and recover.
Barry over Spalding, who was guarding him way out on the perimeter, and Joel Barry with his first points of the night.
Well, Joel Barry has added a different dimension to this team with his 3-point shooting this season. One of the top 3-point shooters in the ACC by percentage, shoots just under 42%. That's his 64th 3 of the season.
Adele playing well here tonight as he knocks down a jumper from the elbow.
Well, he's played well over his last several games. He's really started to pick it up offensively, and he hasn't really come out of many games lately. He's playing like 38 minutes a game over his last 3.
How good is the Adele-Jackson matchup on the wing? Now a switch. Jackson over Spalding, and back comes Adele in transition, going all the way. Wow.
Boy, as he was coming up the floor, I was thinking, hey, Donovan Mitchell's wide open. Forget that.
Barry answers with a 2.
North Carolina doesn't give you very long to enjoy your accomplishments on the offensive end. They get the ball up the court so quickly. That puts a ton of pressure on your transition defense.
I have a feeling which one of those last 2 buckets, though, we're going to see going to break at the end of 4 media timeout.
Well, SportsCenter likes to use a lot of bounce passes.
Over and back on Louisville. Let's take a look right now at that Deng-Adele dunk.
Can you say Deng-Adele dunk 10 times fast? That was spectacular. Took off from the C in ACC and threw that thing down. That was big time by Deng-Adele. Nobody wanted to step in there and take a charge.
No, nobody wanted to be in the poster.
I'll tell you what, he's got the same throwback jersey. That's the same number worn by Rodney McCray. Looked a little like Rodney McCray there with the height and the throwdown.
Brandon Robinson into the game now for the Tar Heels. Good defense by Spalding.
That's Carolina ball. It went off Carolina. That's Louisville ball. That went off of Carolina.
And that's the call that the officials make.
That went right off of Theo Pinson.
Yep.
You don't need to confirm it.
I'm sorry.
I just told you what
I know
it was.
but you like positive reinforcement. McDonough told me all about you. Spalding with a size advantage over Pinson, and he takes advantage.
Right, Louisville looking to get the ball down low. This is a smaller lineup right now for North Carolina, and it is somewhat of a thin lineup. The only big guy in the game for Carolina is Kennedy Meeks. And it is not the best offensive lineup that Carolina can put out there.
Barry trying to use the screen for Meeks. Boy, that is a tough layup.
Well, it looked like Quentin Snyder got a piece of that. I don't want to say to knock it in the basket, but it looked like that was hit.
Snyder keeps the dribble alive.
Good fake by Mitchell.
Snyder again forces it up and in, and the Cardinals back within 2.
Well, he just barreled right into Joel Barry, and Barry was shaken up a bit. That was a tough play by Quentin Snyder.
He's had some big games for Louisville this year. Played very well in the Kentucky game that we saw.
That had to have been his best game. That was the first 20-point outing by a Louisville player of the season.
Meeks
lost it on the way up.
And Louisville with a chance to tie or take the lead as we move into the late stages of the first half. Mathiang spins on Meeks, reverses it in to tie it up.
Boy, what a move by Mango Mathiang. And Kennedy Meeks just standing straight up, needing to get down in the stance. This is a big 2-minute stretch right now as we go toward halftime.
Cardinals have hit their last 6 shots from the field. Deep one for Barry.
Wow. Louisville went to man-to-man. That was deep. Now right now Barry getting mismatch inside.
Ball's on the deck. Barry dives in there to create a held ball situation, and it'll belong to Carolina when we come back.
Well, Deng-Adele has had the play of the game in transition. No doubt about that one. That does look a lot like Rodney McCray. The doctors of dunk redo. That means again.
ESPN's exclusive.
Syracuse over Duke. More great action coming your way on Saturday. It starts off with the Big 12. Kansas is at Texas at 6 o'clock Eastern. And then Jay and Maria and I and the Game Day gang, we will all be at the McHale Center in Tucson. What a game this should be. UCLA and Arizona. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
You think Bill Self is having to put a new wing on his home to house all the championship rings from 13 Big 12 titles in a row? It's ridiculous.
Which will tie UCLA for the all-time record, right? All-time conference championship regular season conference championship record. UCLA did it 13 in a row, I think 67 through 79, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, back in the Pac-8 days.
Meeks bullying his way inside, draws the foul.
And one of the few times that North Carolina's been able to get the ball into the post. Had a little better action against man-to-man. But North Carolina, at the end of this first half and going into the second half, is going to have to do a much better job of defending its paint down at the other end, because Louisville has been getting the ball into the light blue area almost at will.
Meeks, a senior who, as you mentioned Saturday in the Virginia game, has a chance to surpass 1,000 rebounds in his career if Carolina has a good run and he keeps grabbing rebounds.
Really amazing. He's averaging 9 rebounds a game on the season, and he's averaging about 3.5, close to 4 offensive rebounds a game.
Makes them both. Isaiah Hicks on the bench with a couple of fouls, trying to stay loose. Remember, had that hamstring injury about a week and a half ago. Adele, a very strong first half of the Cardinals. 8 points, 6 rebounds. Ball knocked away, and a foul going against Mathiang. His second.
You can see that Louisville at every opportunity is trying to put Kennedy Meeks into some sort of ball screen, dribble handoff action. Anything where they can get him to out of the paint, move laterally, see if they can get him to switch. You remember earlier in the game, Donovan Mitchell got Tony Bradley to switch off on him. They're trying to get these Carolina big guys to guard and guard on the perimeter.
Pinson looking inside. Meeks got the rebound, lost it. It's on the deck. Pinson comes up with it, has it rejected, and now here come the Cardinals.
Everything challenged.
Adele hands it off, still loose, and Mitchell's out of bounds.
That was a foul on May. It should have been. He pulled him down. Boy, that's surprising. I'm not saying he wasn't out of bounds, but I thought that Luke May pulled down Donovan Mitchell here. I mean, he pulled him down.
And the sound you heard wasn't booing. It was them chanting Luke, as they do whenever May's involved in any kind of a play here in Chapel Hill. A guy who's become a much more important part of this team this year.
Luke May has done a great job. Came into the game against Florida State, wound up having 15 rebounds in that game, 5 of them on the offensive end. Did a really nice job in his start against Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. He's a 40% three-point shooter, too.
Pinson fouled. Ray Spalding picks up the foul, and Pinson is headed to the line.
Theo Pinson just gives this team a different dynamic. You know, he's so versatile. He can play any position for this team, and he can guard just about any spot. His defensive versatility may be the most important aspect of his game.
Been a big difference for Carolina when they have had Pinson and when they have not had Pinson this year. You can see the record with and without, and how he can really impact a game in a number of different ways at both ends of the court.
Well, he can impact it on the glass. He's a good rebounder. He's a very good passer, as you could tell by that bounce pass he made a little bit earlier in the game to Justin Jackson in transition.
Rick Pitino's brought Ryan McMahon into the game, redshirt freshman from Sarasota, guy with a great shot who has scored 16 points in 14 minutes in Louisville's last 2 games.
Yeah, you can't let him have an open look. An excellent three-point shooter.
Ball screen, Adele. Snyder the kick. Adele the shot fake. Pull up. Wide right. And that will bring the first half to a close here in Chapel Hill, with North Carolina leading Louisville 33-30 in a battle of 2 of the top teams of the ACC. Right now, Carolina a game ahead of the Cardinals. We'll have the Alfa Romeo halftime report with Andy, Kara, and Fran coming up. At North Carolina with a 3-point lead going to the second half. What stood out for you?
Well, you mentioned it, getting into the paint, because Louisville was just about at will getting to the rim. They did a good job of moving the ball. They set some ball screens, some dribble handoffs, got a couple of lobs to Anas Mahmoud. But North Carolina, they really are ahead because of what they did at the free throw line. They were +5. and what they did at the three-point line. 4 of 8. They were plus 12 from the three-point line. That's the difference in the game, even though Louisville able to get into the paint just about whenever the Cardinals wanted.
Moments ago, Maria Taylor spoke with Roy Williams.
Coach, Louisville scored 26 of their 30 points in the paint. How would you like to defend the interior in the second?
A heck of a lot better when we did that. We were 6 for 18 in the paint ourselves. So we've got to do a better job around the basket, and we've got to be more aggressive on our end, getting the ball inside, either by dribble or pass, but we've got to be more aggressive and do something.
All right, thanks for your time.
Roy Williams with better than 800 wins in his career. Rick Pitino will probably reach that milestone next year, if not the year after. We saw Krzyzewski and Boeheim in the first game. What an outstanding ACC doubleheader here on this Wednesday night. Syracuse with a buzzer-beating win over Duke in the first game. As we have a foul going on Hicks, and that is his third. Just 16 seconds into the second half, Isaiah Hicks picks up his third foul.
Well, I don't know what it is about Isaiah Hicks, and fouls just stick to him like magnets. You know, last year he had a really difficult time staying in games. You know, he played about 20 minutes a game, I think, last year, but it wasn't because he was limited to that. Fouls limited him to that throughout most of the year.
And it'll be Tony Bradley, back into the game for the Tar Heels, so Hicks hardly has a chance to get back on the court. Snyder with a drive, rejected by Bradley.
Well, Tony Bradley is a good player now, and he's going to be a great player here. He just naturally keeps the ball high. When he catches it, he can block shots. He's a great rebounder.
Jackson is fouled on the drive by Spalding.
Now, Bradley gets this block, but you got to give Joel Berry a lot of credit. Yeah, he did a good job of not allowing Quentin Snyder to get past him. He kind of angled him out a little bit and kept him on that same trajectory, that same path, instead of letting him get by and get all the way to the rim. You know, sometimes a guy's going to get just past you a little bit, but as long as you can angle him out and not give him a straight line drive to the basket, you can allow somebody like Bradley to come over and make a play.
Berry with a straight line drive to the basket, high off the glass and good.
And there's the aggressiveness that Roy Williams was talking to Maria Taylor about. Get a few more straight line drives themselves.
Mitchell, a relatively quiet first half of the Cardinals. 2 for 7, 4 points. Tries to split the defense, and he draws the foul on Pinson.
Joel Berry is such a versatile player, but he got right past Dangadell and was able to get his shoulders past. And he is a really good finisher near the basket. See how he shields off his right hand with his left shoulder? Really does a nice job when he goes to the basket. And he also keeps his eyes up, keeps his eyes on the rim all the time and doesn't take them off. You mentioned Donovan Mitchell and how he's not had a fluid offensive game. That's been because of Theo Pinson.
Meeks brings down another rebound. Berry in transition. Pinson with a drive. Scoop and a finish. Largest lead of the night. And Rick Pitino is going to use an early timeout.
Theo Pinson has done a great job on the defensive end against Donovan Mitchell. And the drive right around Anas Mahmoud. A little
to the Celtics and the Raptors, and then out west for the Spurs and the Clippers at 10:30. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7. Ryan McMahon into the game for Quentin Snyder. Donovan Mitchell rises up for a 3. Big shot for Louisville to try to stem the tide. Carolina with all the momentum coming out of the half.
Well, Justin Jackson was guarding Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell before that shot 2 of 7 in this game. Only 4 points, and before that, I mean, North Carolina, we talked about them giving up so many points in the paint, but one thing perhaps we underemphasized, they only gave up 30 points in the first half.
Right.
That's not a bad defensive effort.
Jackson has it knocked away, out of bounds still with Carolina as we check in with Maria.
Guys, Coach Pitino in that last huddle talking to his bigs about ducking in, saying how can we get you the ball if you're not establishing position. So he again wants to play through his post here on offense.
Well, that's a good point, trying to get the Carolina big guys to have to defend in the post as well. You know, one of the ways that you can go after people is make them guard.
Too easy, just too clean of a look off the high ball screen for Justin Jackson.
Yeah, nobody stepped in. Just melt against that screen instead of getting over it, getting under it. And anytime you got Justin Jackson, you want to go over that screen.
Does he have a chance to win ACC Player of the Year?
I think he does.
McMahon open in the corner, long on the three. Spalding with a rebound, rejected by Meeks. Big fella bringing it up the floor, hands it off to Pinson.
Coming off a game they had 3 blocks against Virginia.
Mahmoud reaches around and takes it away.
Well, not the best pass, but Kennedy Meeks has got to hold off Anas Mahmoud. He's stronger.
Nice stop and go move there by Mitchell on his way to the bucket to bring Louisville back within 5.
You know, that would have been better if Justin Jackson had taken one more dribble down to the baseline and been able to get a better angle to get it into Kennedy Meeks.
Now Meeks turns it over, trying to execute a spin move, and Mahmoud beats the defense down the court.
Boy, 2 really poor offensive plays by North Carolina have led to runouts. They've done such a good job defending in the half court, but there is no way that you can defend a runout. And that's really a poor job. This is where poor offense really put a lot of pressure on North Carolina's defense. And all of a sudden, Louisville's in a much better frame of mind after these 2 easy buckets.
Mahmoud, who had been struggling, lost his starting spot, has been coming off the bench last couple of games, misses that free throw badly, to say the least. 54% on the season. Carolina still leads by 3.
Louisville doesn't have a made free throw in the game yet, do they?
No. They don't have a made 3 or a made free throw, right? They have 1 3, no made free throws. Bradley, deep position, and he's fouled.
Well, that's the way to take the ball hard to the basket. Good job of establishing that low post position. You know, Tony Bradley is playing about 16-17 minutes a game, but look, he got both feet in the paint and got Anas Mahmoud on his back, and then he just went straight up with 2 hands and took it up to dunk and really forced Mahmoud to foul him. That was really well done by Tony Bradley. He's got a really good present, but he's got an even better future.
Only playing about 15 minutes per game because he plays behind the likes of Meeks and Hicks, the senior and the junior. And Hicks on the bike again. Remember the foul trouble? He's hardly played. The hamstring injury last week, trying to stay loose, and just hoping when he does get back in there, he can stick around for a little while.
Yeah, if it weren't for the fouls, he'd be playing instead of running the Tour de France.
Couple of missed free throws, still a 3-point game. A lot on the line. Carolina a game up on Louisville atop the ACC standings right now as Mitchell knocks down another 3, and he's tied the game.
Well, how about that cross and step back guarded by Nate Britt? That was beautiful. It's a great individual move by Donovan Mitchell, starting to heat up. He's been great over his last 12 games. Shooting about 43% from 3. Much different shooter than he was last year. Last year he only had 18 threes on the season.
Jackson off balance. Follow no by Meeks. Saved by McMahon. Louisville looking for the lead. Mitchell. King. And here come the Tar Heels. Barry right into McMahon. Draws the foul to take us to immediate timeout.
Well, Donovan Mitchell struggled in that first half. 2 of 7. Much more aggressive in the second half. Coming off the ball screen. Look at that cross and step back.
Applebee's all-in burger meal deal for just $9.99.
Oregon, by the way, is at Cal right now. They're down by 9 in the second half. Right now projected as a 2 seed along with the Wildcats. UCLA currently as a 4. This game's going to be great. We're really looking forward to this.
Well, Arizona UCLA has the chance to be a track meet. And UCLA is one of the truly elite offensive teams in the country. And with Lonzo Ball at the point guard position as a freshman, who's 6'6", he's one of those guys that controls the game without dominating the ball. And that's not easy to do. Like, that's a team that shares the ball. They got 6 guys that average in double figures. They've got like 5 guys that can put up 25 on you in a single game.
TJ Leaf having an outstanding season as a freshman for the Bruins and overshadowed in many ways by Ball, getting so much of the headlines.
And Bryce Alford is having a magnificent year. He's never played better.
McMahon lob inside for Johnson. Bradley comes up with a loose ball for the Tar Heels.
Well, and that's where you have to finish. Louisville got exactly what it wanted.
Rick Pitino keeping McMahon in the game. Snyder on the bench. He got a talking to a couple of minutes ago. McMahon came in for him. May back into the game now for Carolina. Meeks has gone to the bench. Barry finds Jackson. Jackson pull up. And it will go. Boy, he's got a soft touch.
Well, he's such a good perimeter shooter. You have to respect it. And when he puts the ball on the deck, if you take the shot away, he's driving. And that mid-range shot, there just aren't that many players in the country that have the combination of perimeter shooting and mid-range pull-up that Justin Jackson can put out there.
Adele, who'd been on the bench for several minutes for the Cardinals, back in now. Mahmoud lost it, but is fouled. Luke May called for the foul.
Well, it looked initially like he had all ball, but he might have gotten some arm there. Pat Driscoll was right on top of the call. Yeah, he got the arm just at the end. Yep, that's exactly right. Got ball at first and then the arm at the end.
Yep. And the conversation may be, should this be a shooting foul or not?
I don't think it should be.
They can go to the monitor to see who the foul should have been called on. We believe they did call it on May. And it did look like May reaching in with a left hand, although Bradley was the primary defender. And it looks like it'll be Louisville ball on the end line.
One of the guys you have to watch here is Ryan McMahon. Remember, against Purdue, he had 2 threes off of out-of-bounds plays.
Mitchell with a drive and a kick. McMahon wide open. In and out.
Ryan McMahon's not going to get a more wide open look than that, and usually he knocks those down.
Staying with Britt, but Britt will eventually just keep on driving and draw the foul.
Well, that one has got to be a little bit of a gut punch for Louisville. Donovan Mitchell made a great drive. They got exactly what they wanted. A step-in 3 for Ryan McMahon, who's had 16 points in his last 2 games. And I think he's knocked down like 4 or 5 threes.
Looks like he's going to come out of the game right now, though, as Snyder's getting ready to come back in. So McMahon heads to the bench. Meeks and Pinson coming back in for Carolina. Bradley and Jackson will sit down.
The free throw line has been a separating factor in this ball game. It's not like North Carolina's gotten there a ton, but Louisville's not hit one yet, and Carolina's should be their 8th point if he makes this. And how about Nate Britt? Nate Britt shoots about 61% from the free throw line. I remember him in years past being a knockdown free throw shooter. Not shot it well from the line this year.
So Carolina the last 5 points after Louisville went on a run to tie it. They play on. Mitchell a deep one, his 3rd 3 here in the second half.
He's starting to feel it. And Theo Pinson went down. That got Donovan Mitchell's defender off of him just a bit and opened it up for that step-in 3.
He's got 11 of their last 13 points, and he's the Cardinals' high scorer on the season, 15.6 points per game. Meeks working on the glass, and a foul going against the Cardinals.
Well, his last 14 games coming into this one, Donovan Mitchell averaging 19 points per game. He's made 42 threes over that period, 43% from three-point range after having shot in the 30s all season long. And he is starting to feel it.
He was 5 for 7 from three-point range Saturday against Virginia Tech. Scored 26 points in a wild game. Louisville hung on to win it 94-90 over the Hokies.
Who didn't make a 3 in that game?
Virginia Tech made 17, right?
17, and then Louisville made 12.
Made 12, right.
I mean, both teams shot a combined 60% from three-point range.
May is fouled by Adele.
That's just not finishing a defensive a defensive play because Louisville should have come up with that ball. Theo Pinson takes the shot and just spins around, and everybody just kind of stand there looking, and Luke May was the first one there. I mean, first of all, Jalen Johnson's a rebounder. He cannot be leaking out early. He needs to be in there rebounding.
And here's May, the sophomore from Huntersville, North Carolina, getting about 14 minutes per game for the Tar Heels this year. As Adele heads to the bench, Johnson will go out as well. Spalding back into the game. And King has returned for Louisville as well. First point of the night for May. Both teams deep, both teams showing that depth. A very physical, intense game tonight here in Chapel Hill.
Well, North Carolina needs to be aggressive on the offensive end because they can get some fouls on Louisville. Louisville's got 16 fouls. It's free throws every foul from here on in. And North Carolina's still got a couple to give.
Pinson to May.
Nice pass.
Meeks couldn't handle the pass initially, upset with himself. He was fouled, but he had an easy two if he could have squeezed it.
Both Tony Bradley and Luke May have given some good minutes to North Carolina with Isaiah Hicks out with foul trouble. And Hicks hasn't been able to play many minutes at all in this ball game.
Getting ready to check back in. There's been a non-factor tonight as Meeks heads to the line. You look at Carolina and how many high major teams. This is Meeks's 133rd game in a Carolina uniform. For Hicks and Britt, it's their 140th game for Carolina, and for Jackson, his 107th. Hardly any high major programs have that kind of experience anymore.
Really remarkable, and just shows not only have they played a lot of basketball, but their team has been really successful. You don't put up 140 games unless you're getting to the final of the ACC tournament, the NCAA, deep into the NCAA tournament.
How fun is Brooklyn going to be this year, where the ACC tournament is?
I mean, it's going to be a fist fight for 5 days. Number of teams fighting for the NCAA tournament. And that could be the capper. There are going to be a lot of elimination games in the first couple days of the ACC tournament. Wow.
Difficult shot for Mitchell.
That is not good offense for Louisville. This is a much better team than they showed on that one possession.
Seventh Woods in at the point, giving Barry a breather.
And North Carolina needs to look to try to get the ball inside here, whether by the pass or by the dribble. Put Louisville in a position to foul. There it is, slice cut, screen for the screener.
Meeks calling for it. Woods can't get it to him. They reverse it.
A lot of switches.
Pinson. Yes! Another friendly roll. Timeout, Louisville.
Really amazing. And with Scotty Lindsey being out for so long, for Northwestern being on the cusp of their first ever NCAA tournament, Chris Collins has done an outstanding job. What I'm going to be interested in seeing is, I think they're going to make it, and when they do, all the Northwestern grads that are going to come out to watch the game in their NCAA tournament game. Because, everybody from the journalism school, right. Seth Meyers, you name it, everybody's going to be out, just like they were when Northwestern made the Rose Bowl a million years, however many years ago that was, 20-some years ago.
I think the officials trying to just calm the emotions down a little bit right now. Tough foul call going against Seventh Woods as Snyder tried to get him in the air. Now Snyder headed to the line for the Cardinals. Back to the ACC tournament, you talked about teams who will go in needing wins, elimination games. You look kind of middle down in the conference, and teams like Clemson. Boy, Clemson, they've lost so many tough games. Georgia Tech, Wake Forest. I mean, on any given day, these are teams that can knock off some of the top teams in the conference.
Yeah, Clemson's a good basketball team, but they got to start getting some wins. I mean, just for their own mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, to lose the way they did the other night against Virginia Tech, Seth Allen comes off a ball screen, they go underneath it. And that's not the way Brad Brownell's teams want to play. and especially at a crunch time like that. But sometimes, you get in a bad place mentally, and bad things tend to happen. It's a weird dynamic.
Louisville now 0 for 6 from the free throw line in this game. Carolina leading the conference standings at 11-3. Louisville's 10-4, a game back. Duke lost at Syracuse earlier tonight on a three-pointer at the buzzer by John Gillett, who finished with 26. So Duke is now 10-5, same as Florida State, same as Notre Dame. And you got Miami at 9-6, Syracuse at 9-7, and a lot of the top teams really playing each other in the last couple of weeks of the regular season.
Kennedy Meeks just threw Dangadell out of the way with his left arm as he was trying to go for that offensive rebound. North Carolina had a great opportunity there to move this out to a double-digit lead. This is a big possession right now for Louisville. Cardinals need a score.
Snyder to Adele. He'll rise up for a three. Doesn't get it. Meeks with a good rebound.
Well, how about that box out on Jalen Johnson? That was big time.
His 9th rebound of the game. Tried to get it to Hicks. Couldn't do it. Turnaround jumper is good.
It looked like he was going to dump it down to Isaiah Hicks, but great awareness by Kennedy Meeks and a soft touch.
And the seniors now a rebound away from a double-double in this game.
And Kennedy Meeks really getting on Isaiah Hicks about fouls. It looked like he wanted the little high-low there, and Isaiah Hicks not ready for the pass. Maybe that's what Kennedy Meeks was getting on him about, saying, come on, buddy, I was about to get you a dunk, but if you want me to take it, I will. Soft touch.
Meanwhile, Hicks back to the bench with his 4th foul. Adele the drive and the kick. Snyder the extra look. Mitchell deep three. No. Johnson had it, lost it. And then Mathiang tried to dump it off to Johnson instead of going up with it.
Yeah, he's got to go up, either get fouled or finish the play. You're not going to complete that pass. That was a sure turnover.
Jackson to Bradley. Bradley, wild hook shot, won't go, and it's out of bounds to Louisville. After we finish up tonight here in Chapel Hill, don't miss Sports Center at night with John Buccigross and Steve Levy. They'll have everything from a big night in college basketball, the latest from the NBA to the trade deadline approaching, the NHL, and more. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Bucci and Levy.
It's a likable duo.
It is a likable duo. Just ask them.
10-point lead now for Carolina. Knocked away, still Louisville ball. The 5 guys in the white jerseys and all the folks wearing blue at the end of the court don't like it, and we'll have an overrule. They'll give it now to the Heels. And it looks like the right call. Yep. Mitchell last to touch it. 13th turnover committed by the Cardinals.
Right now with the Tar Heel big guys, Kennedy Meeks and Tony Bradley, we'd like to see North Carolina get the ball inside, play inside out.
Mahmoud fronting Meeks. Pinson baseline. Turns it over. Hicks back into the game for Louisville. Cradles it and lays it in.
Well, he really threw his body right into Justin Jackson, knocked him back, and Tony Hicks able to finish that play. Hicks transferred in from Penn as a 5th-year transfer.
And again, back tonight for the first time in a month. You can see he's got his right hand wrapped, playing with a broken bone in his right hand. Made a bit of a surprise return tonight. We didn't expect to see him as Meeks lays it into the other end.
Boy, how about the hard work by Kennedy Meeks to get that early post position? He was low, and he got the ball deep in the paint. That was a terrific job. That's what everybody means when they say do your work early. He scored before he ever caught it.
Adele misses the three. Pinson with a home run ball. Meeks off to Jackson. Bradley deep position, and he'll score again, and the lead grows for Carolina.
The Carolina big guys just outworking Louisville right now.
A win for Carolina. They are 2 games up on the rest of the league. Another miss from beyond the arc. Bradley misses the dunk, and they play on.
He was fouled.
Mitchell fouled at the other end. No basket, and a timeout on the floor.
Well, Kennedy Meeks getting that low post position, just outworking Louisville. Gets 2 feet into the paint, race fall.
They've been ranked 89-75 from one Pitino, Richard Pitino, to his dad, Rick Pitino, back on the bench with Louisville. Back to you guys.
All right, Andy, thank you. So that's a big win for Minnesota. They're kind of a bubble team, maybe a little bit better than that. They started off very well, hit a bit of a valley, but they've got a pretty good resume. Michigan had picked up probably what was a must-win game for them at Rutgers, a bubble team in the Wolverines. They don't want to slip. So
how about that? Donovan Mitchell just made the first free throw for Louisville. And right now in this game, North Carolina is +9 from the three-point line. They've made 3 more threes than Louisville has. And they're +9 with those 2 free throws. Now they're +9 from the free throw line. That's the difference in the game. I mean, Louisville's got more field goals than North Carolina. But when you count the threes and the free throws, that's why the Tar Heels are winning.
Also +10 on the glass. Carolina arguably the best rebounding team in the country. Baseline floater, Joel Berry.
Now North Carolina's starting to play with a little pace. Now they catch the ball. A shot fake, drive, floater. Remember how fast they were going in the first half? It's like they were on speed.
Yeah, first 8 minutes was ragged on both ends. 7 minutes to go. Carolina by 12. A lot of traffic inside. Ball still live, and it belongs to the Heels. Jackson. And the rebound down to Spalding.
Where Jackson does not hesitate when he thinks he's open. He's a tough cover.
Off balance shot. Mahmoud with the offensive rebound, lays it in with the left hand.
And Mahmoud has shown a left hand, right hand. He's put the ball on the floor. He's really improved as an offensive player.
And it's a 10-point game. Berry open in the corner. And Mitchell airmailed one over the head of King out of bounds.
I don't know what he was thinking there. Even if VJ King had caught that ball, what was he going to do with it? It's not like that was leading him further down the court. A little surprised. Donovan Mitchell usually makes very good decisions. And he was an excellent baseball pitcher. His father works in the New York Mets organization.
Bradley for Meeks.
I asked him why he didn't stick with baseball. He says, I like basketball better.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer. I was looking for something really profound, and I like basketball better.
Louisville into the zone. Jackson drive, left hand, yes.
He's really got a complete game. Take away that shot, he will drive. You take away the drive, he's got a mid-range. He can catch and shoot. He's got deep range. And he's a good defender.
Much improved over a year ago. Now a junior. Spalding bumped and will shoot a couple.
One of the things that's been so impressive about Justin Jackson has been his high-level consistency over the course of the season. He's averaging right at 20 points per game in ACC games.
In league games, third in the ACC in scoring, behind Andrew White of Syracuse and John Collins of Wake Forest, as May will leave, and once again Isaiah Hicks will come into the game, and once again he'll try to stay in there for a while. He's only played 9 minutes tonight, got 4 fouls.
Well, he's been fortunate that North Carolina really hasn't needed him, because Luke May and Tony Bradley have come into the game and have played well and helped make up for his absence. Kennedy Meeks has had to play extended minutes. And he's got to be a little bit tired in this one, because he has worked really, really hard.
2 more missed free throws, so Louisville just 2 for 10 from the line.
Tough to win on the road when you can't make free throws.
Berry baseline. Blocked from behind. Bradley. Bradley again.
Well, he didn't finish. Tony Bradley just naturally keeps that ball high.
You know, at the end of the night, sometimes you look at the offensive rebounds Carolina has and you try to remember them. But one of the reasons is so many of them seem to come in flurries like that with just tip after tip.
Yes. Usually they are really good at finishing those. In this game, they haven't finished quite as well. And look, this Louisville team can take you out of what you like to do. So it's difficult to play your normal game. Usually North Carolina's they average about 18 assists per game. That's first in the ACC. It's in the top 5 in the nation. And they haven't gotten the same amount of assists in this one.
Another missed free throw. This time it's on the front end of a 1-and-1.
And Louisville got to be careful with the ball here because Louisville's going to be looking to take some chances.
Barry the kick out to Jackson. Deep three. And an ear-to-ear smile on the face of Justin Jackson as he backpedaled on D.
Well, one of the reasons he's smiling was that ball was tipped. That was a heck of a catch. It's not like it went in his shooting pocket. He had to reach with his right hand to get that ball and still able to get it off over the outstretched arms of Ray Spalding. That's a big-time shot.
At Chili's, we ain't just blowing smoke. More
has had not only a first-team All-ACC type of year, but I think he's starting to make a great case for ACC Player of the Year. His consistency at such a high level has been really remarkable. He had 18 points in the first half against Virginia, wound up with 20 in that one. And in this game, he has been good from the beginning. He's been a threat every time he has stepped onto the floor. And that has opened up things for his teammates. You know, he's gotten it not only from catch and shoot situations, but if they take away the shot, his drives, his mid-range game, just a complete basketball player. How about the improvement from his first 2 years to this one? Both he and Donovan Mitchell from Louisville have made great strides from last year to this.
Tipped by Jackson, and he's got it.
With great anticipation on the fade.
What a big stretch in the schedule for Carolina. 6 of their final 8 regular season games as Jackson again anticipates, hustles, comes up with a loose ball, then turns it over. 6 of their final 8 regular season games against ranked teams as Adele misses a jam.
They just slipped off his fingers.
Carolina pounding Virginia on the weekend, 65-41. They're still going to Virginia. They'll finish up here in the regular season against Duke.
Wendy's is adding the...
I tried to keep him away from the fans, but you could see how upset he was. That was not run-of-the-mill, whatever he must have heard. Maria Taylor was right in the vicinity. Maria, what did you see or hear?
Yeah, it happened right in front of me, Dan, and basically it was a fan in the end zone yelled, Patino, U-S-U-C-K. And then Patino turned around and immediately had a reaction. You could see his coaches trying to get in the way. They got him closer into the tunnel. He lunged back yet again, but security jumped right in, and the fan was escorted out immediately after he made the comment. So there's an empty seat now here in the end zone.
All right, Maria, thank you. So a frustrating night heading off the court for Patino at the end of the first half. And, Jay, his mood is not improving at all here as the lead continues to grow for Carolina.
Well, his team has not performed at as high a level as I think he would have expected. Louisville has been playing much better than they have played in this game. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to North Carolina's defense. This has not been pretty, but it has been gritty. And North Carolina, you know, we've talked throughout the course of the year, if they could defend at a higher level, you know, who's going to beat them? I mean, their offense is so good. They can put points on the board. They play fast. They got big guys. They offensive rebound. If they could just get a few more stops per game. Well, I think you can see in the game that they played against Virginia on Saturday and this one against Louisville, this team can get down a guard when they want to.
They held Virginia to 41 points, and granted, Virginia's not a team that generally scores a lot of points, and they missed some open looks. Roy Williams actually didn't think they played as well defensively as the numbers would indicate, but to hold Virginia to 41, and now Louisville's at 51 with 3:04 to go. They know they can win games in the 80s and 90s, but to go the distance, they'll probably have to win 1 or 2 in the 60s, you would think.
Yeah, they can win all different ways, especially with their ability to get second shots and with their big guys.
And a foul against Louisville. Tomorrow it's an American Big Ten doubleheader here on ESPN. At 7 Eastern, Memphis takes on number 15 Cincinnati, and then at 9 o'clock it'll be the Badgers in Columbus to tangle with the Buckeyes. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
Cincinnati's really good. With Mick Cronin, his teams always defend and rebound. They always lead the nation in playing hard. But this year they can score from all 5 spots on the floor. And Kyle Washington's a really versatile player, lefty. Jacob Evans, they got a good basket. Troy Copane. I mean, Troy Copane hadn't turned the ball over in like 3 weeks.
They kind of fly under the radar every year.
They do kind of, don't they?
Yep. 1 of 2 for Jackson, 21 on the night. Some long faces on the Louisville bench right now. Cardinals came in having won 3 in a row. A loss tonight will drop them to 10-5. And in a 4-way tie for second place in the league, 2 games back of Carolina.
And Carolina, if they can hang on in this game, will be in the driver's seat for the ACC regular season title and the #1 seed in the ACC tournament. And that's with the most difficult schedule in the country down the stretch.
We mentioned 6 of 8 against ranked teams. They beat Notre Dame. They lost to Duke. They beat NC State. They beat Virginia on their way to a win tonight. And they finish at Pitt, at Virginia, and then home to Duke, as we mentioned, on the 4th of March. Hicks rejected by Mahmoud.
That's some length there.
Crowd appreciating the fact that Louisville didn't get anything easy in transition. Snyder and a foul.
It's got to be on Isaiah Hicks because he was within 20 feet.
No, they're going to give it to
Kennedy Meeks. Yeah. Figure with Isaiah Hicks' luck in this one is going to be on him.
And Meeks is looking at his buddy as if to say, man, I bailed you out right there. I kept you in the game. This is twice in 3 games where Hicks has really been a very limited factor because of foul trouble.
And it really hasn't been that big of an issue all season long. It was an issue last year now. Yeah, if I remember right, Isaiah Hicks averaged a little over 20 minutes a game last year, and he could have played a lot more because he's so productive. I mean, he's a very good shooter. You know, he averages, or he shoots 60% from the field and 80% from the free throw line. And so to have a big guy that is that efficient, you want him on the floor more.
But really getting great play off the bench, whether it's Bradley or May. Great depth, 4 quality players for the 2 front court spots for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, the only thing that really hurts North Carolina is losing Kenny Williams. To have a guy that can stretch the floor and a good perimeter defender out for what's going to amount to the season, I think really hurts.
Mahmoud's length comes into play again as he comes up with a steal. Snyder. And Louisville hitting some threes late here. They've got it down to 8.
Well, North Carolina took their foot off the gas, and they've still got to be aggressive because Louisville can turn you over.
Let's take a quick run back to the studio. Here's Andy Katz.
All right, thank you, Dan. We got a good one going on in Philadelphia as Butler is trying to go for the sweep over Villanova. Tyler Lewis with the corner 3. Butler now up 57-49, going for that sweep. Back to you guys.
Well, Villanova right now sitting as a 1 seed, according to Joe Lunardi. Not only as a 1 seed, but the overall #1 seed right now. Boy, that would be huge for Butler to beat him again.
Yeah, it would be really big for Butler moving up a couple of seed lines. You know, Butler was surprisingly in that top 16 that the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee put out last week. And I was a little surprised at that. I was really surprised that Gonzaga was the 4th overall #1.
The lead back to 10 after a couple of free throws from Nate Britt. Look at that rebound by Barry.
Yeah, I think Kennedy Meeks was looking at him afterwards. Great rebound, but I'm trying to get 1,000, brother. How about it?
We mentioned the remaining schedule for North Carolina, assuming a win here tonight. A 2-game lead in the conference with 3 to play. They'll finish at Pitt, at Virginia on Big Monday, and then at home against Duke, as they always do this year. The game at the end of the regular season is here in Chapel Hill, and that'll be part of our Saturday primetime package.
And the one thing you don't want to do is go on the road to the Pete and take Pittsburgh lightly in any way, shape, or form. Pittsburgh's a team that can really score.
Crossover by Mitchell, and he'll slam it down with 2 hands, but still a 10-point lead in the final minute. And they'll send Pinson to the line.
Theo Pinson has really had a good game. He started off the game guarding Donovan Mitchell, and Mitchell got off to such a slow start in the first half. I think he was 2 of 7 in the first half, only had 4 points. And Theo Pinson was a big reason why.
As we mentioned, has missed 19 games with a couple of different injuries this year. Now they've got Williams out. Barry missed a couple of games. Bradley had a concussion and missed a couple of games. Hicks missed a game as Kenny Williams, knee surgery, out for the season. Very good defender.
Kenny Williams originally committed to VCU. He was supposed to go to VCU when Shaka Smart left to go to Texas. Reopened his recruiting and wound up here at North Carolina. Made 1 3 all of last year, 27 this year before he got injured.
And again, a Carolina team. Now the official is in play unless he's standing out of bounds. And John Gaffney said, I was standing out of bounds when the ball hit me. Roy Williams and Justin Jackson are saying, hey, I had a breakaway layup or a dunk.
Well, maybe they can look at the monitor
to see in the last 2 minutes to see if the
referee was out of bounds.
Not sure what Rick Pitino was unhappy about.
They're going to go to the monitor.
He's inbounds.
Yeah, he was inbounds.
Yeah.
So that's Carolina ball then. Because Carolina came up with the ball.
Yep. So if he had been out of bounds, then they had decided it was off Jackson, it would have been Louisville ball.
Yeah, if the ball hits anything that's out of bounds, including the official, if the official were out of bounds, the ball is deemed out of bounds. But that's funny. You've never seen an official review to see if the official was in the right position. Was the official in bounds or out of bounds? This is a new one.
Yeah. If John Gaffney doesn't come out of this with a smile on his face.
Oh, he will.
He absolutely will.
You remember John Gaffney did 2 games in one day. Louisville. Remember when he did those 2 games when Louisville was at Notre Dame? So he's doing 2 games because somebody couldn't get there.
Right.
And it was a 5 overtime game.
Right. Good times. Roy Williams finds it funny. Look at that. They've cracked. Hubert's laughing.
Yeah. John Gaffney is laughing.
Yep.
That's got to be the first in the history of replay that an official has gone to see if the official was in bounds.
And the crowd booing as Louisville continues to foul.
Well, they have dinner reservations. I mean, I'd rather watch more basketball.
The closing schedule for the Cardinals. They will host Syracuse. The Orange coming off the big win up at the Carrier Dome over Duke earlier tonight. Then they'll go to Wake. And then at home to Notre Dame on the final weekend of the regular season. So if you just look at the way the league is shaping up, we mentioned you got 4 teams that will be 10-5. Duke, Louisville, Florida State, Notre Dame. That means conceivably 2 of those will meet in a quarterfinal matchup. You'll have a maybe top 15 matchup in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament.
Yeah, you're not going to have an easy path to the ACC tournament championship. You never do, but this year will be a lot of fun in Brooklyn.
Another win for Carolina. They'll go to 12-3 in the league, 2 games clear of everybody else.
And this one was not an easy one. They had to work for it.
And they'll let the shot clock run down. Is it officially over? I'm not sure it's officially over. It's a shot clock violation, and they'll just have to inbound the ball to officially end it. Barry tried to keep that ball up in the air long enough for it not to come down. And now they're just going to call it off. So that's it. Carolina 74, Louisville 63 here in Chapel Hill. Another big win for the Tar Heels. Coming up next at SportsCenter. For Jay Billis, Maria Taylor, and our crew, I'm Dan Shulman saying thanks for watching and so long from Chapel Hill. Here are John Buccigross and Steve Lee.